Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
I'm appalled at what you said on that pod thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, cause it's time for the After the Show podcast.
Yeah, what's up? Happy Monday. Welcome to the After the Show podcast. What's up, everybody? Yeah.
What's up with you?
Yeah. Just telling us fun little stories here. Where are you going?
Last story you just told right before you hit the on button was making me belly laugh.
Well,
are you able to tell that story?
Yeah, I can tell it. I mean, because it goes, we probably all have somebody where there's maybe, and you've probably done this, and you definitely have stories in your mind that stick out of where somebody did something they will never live down. I remember all the way back to college, there was a girl that got really hammered and she crapped herself on the way back to the dorm. We were in a co-ed dorm. And the next day her shoes were sitting in the hall and there was shit all over them. And the guy across the hall from us was a big time asshole, but he was funny. He's kind of like one of those guys. And so he's like, look at this shit in her boots. And he would call her shitting boots, and she never. It was. I remember this is our freshman year. We were seniors, and he'd still be like, "Where's shitting boots today?" I mean,
That's
never
tough, man.
Brutal.
Never lived it down. And so we were kind of talking about those kind of stories that have happened. And unfortunately, we probably all have that kind of story where we are these shitting boots. And my daughter Caitlin was talking about how she was out on Saturday night, and there was, a bunch of girls that she was with, and there's some other people that were friends of friends, and there was this one girl in particular, and she's trying to impress this group of these guys, and so they're drinking, and she's trying to show, I can hang, and and coming off all tough, and whatever, and she's like, this guy's so hot, and blah blah blah, and so they're like, yeah, but I don't know if this is the right way to try to win him over. So she does a shot, and all of a sudden she just turns green, and they're like, uh-oh, and so she goes running out the front. It's a small bar in Boca, and she's out there and she starts yakking right into the bushes out front of the bar. Well, they all kind of come out to check on her, and the girl's bent over yakking into the bushes, and she barfs so hard. She goes, "Hurrah!" This huge loud fart comes out, and she barfs and goes, and right then all those guys that they were with come walking out the front of the bar too, and the one dude she was trying to impress is like, oh, that was meaty.
The hot guy said
Yes.
that? Oh.
And Caitlin's like, and it smelled so bad.
Oh.
And they just walked off, and she's like, yeah, that just is done. I'm like, gosh, that's just terrible, because that guy will forever.
That's tough.
I mean, what a terrible moment. What a bad look. Not only you barfing, but you release one of the loudest, most obnoxious farts of your life.
That girl might need to get a new friend group.
Yeah.
You don't live that one down.
That's a tough one.
Will the friends be cool about that, or will they?
No.
They were telling everybody. Caitlin was on a phone telling us. I mean, she was laughing.
This clown dad just said it on the radio.
You're right.
I mean-
he's like, it's a small bar in Boca.
O'Brien's. I mean, this is just
Oh, man.
one of those things where, I mean, and this is how it works, is like somebody's going to tell somebody that, and don't make the story funny. I mean, if you're a part of it, don't do something where it's like, so she barfed so hard that she farted right in front of the guy she was trying to impress.
That sucks. Do you have a story like that where you really were embarrassed?
I'm trying to think. I mean, I have. I mean, a lot of them, happen in college when you're, pretty crazy and partying. But I don't know. I mean, the fart or shit is the one that really, that.
You can't recover from that, really.
Right.
Well, it's tougher to recover. I'm not saying you can't. I don't
But
wanna
it's
live in
tougher.
absolute. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
tougher.
Yeah. So I mean, I've had the kind of embarrassing, but I don't know if it was maybe to that level, but yeah. So but I'm sure probably a creative nickname will come out of that, and like shitting boots, and that unfortunately will be your dad.
It'll stick.
Yeah. Somebody just texted and said, yeah, my wife farted so hard it made my iPhone Siri go off, and she asked, May I help you?
Wow. That's amazing.
That was described to me as about the level of fart. Yeah. Somebody said she barted. Yes.
Farted.
Just,
It's a deadly 1-2 combo.
that's the time when you just release everything. I mean, your whole body gives up.
You're right.
Well, there was nothing your body could do.
There was no restraint.
It had to give.
It surrendered. It couldn't do anymore.
But the timing. That's why I'm like, I'm going to get sick. No one check on me. Please, just
Don't check on me.
Don't check on me.
Please, let
if
me
I
just-
die, I die. Just, no one leave me alone.
Let me fart in the bushes.
I just want to, I need to be by myself. My body is going to do things that no one else should witness right now. Oh, man.
good.
It's just tough, isn't it? It's just tough. All right, let's see. We got some emails here today. Got some call them out. Somebody said, I want to call out the FedEx guy that drove on my beautiful grass and threw my package into my screen door.
Oh.
Hope you get fired after the talk I had with your boss. Hashtag D-bag. That's Michelle and Mark from Okeechobee.
There's a lot of clips of people just chucking shit over a fence.
I think they're stressed out, I mean, if you're a driver and you're just normally just driving around dropping off packages, I think your workload increases by like 80% at the holidays.
But that still doesn't-
Imagine like the stress of that. I get it.
We all have stress, though. We all can't be throwing shit around.
I get it, but I'm just maybe offering a little peek into, if your world got 80% harder and your money didn't go up 80%, that's tough.
Well, imagine if a surgeon said, I can't operate. I'm stressed today. Oh, everyone's stressed. You can't be throwing shit.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Watch some of those videos, what they do. I mean, they will just chuck the shit out of that stuff.
You're right. Got to do your job. I know it can get tough. You can be frustrated, but got to keep it together.
Don't you fuck up my G.I. Joes?
Yeah.
The things are brittle.
They're already vintage.
You're right.
And they're old.
They are old as shit.
I read a lot of articles, what we had talked about on Friday with that shooting that had happened on the Miramar Parkway. There was pretty much all the articles I was reading, like in the Sun Sentinel, in the comments, were just people saying, why did we turn the Miramar Parkway into a shooting gallery? And so there's a lot of hard questions they're investigating, and right now they're trying to funnel all the questions to the FBI. But they said that's kind of what happens when you have a multi-jurisdiction, because it started in Coral Gables, and so you've got their cops chasing, and then another police agency joins in, and then, that's why typically they encourage you, once you get into a different area, hand it off to another jurisdiction because they have different protocols, and if you throw everyone's protocols together, you get chaos. And so people were asking that question, why it got to that point. And did you see one of the guys, too, had robbed another jewelry store before and wound up in a high-speed chase?
This was his second time?
Second time he'd done this.
And he got away the first time?
No, he got caught, did jail time, did prison time, got out 2.5 years ago.
Wow. So he went back to what he knew.
Robbing jewelry stores, and that's what it was. Ski mask, drawn pistols, come in, kind of the same M.O. $100,000 worth of goods he got away the first time.
So what are you supposed to do if they have a hostage? Obviously, you have to follow them. Let's say you're following the UPS truck. You're the cops, and you don't want this hostage to get away. And then they turn around and they start firing on you in front of everybody. What is the protocol on something like that?
What they were saying is the big question that people are asking is there were two things. One, you try to deter them to a less, high traffic area. And they said that is tough and tricky because sometimes they'll plow right through the barricades trying to steer them into a certain direction. The spike strips is the one thing why they're asking that, okay, why did we not throw some spike strips down, kind of understanding where they were going, shut down I-75 where they are, throw down spike strips, they blow a tire, now they're on I-75, no traffic's around, and then you deal with bringing in a hostage negotiator and trying to save, that poor Frank Ordonez that was killed in the whole thing, and then you spare the life of the motorist. But that was the thing they were saying was crazy, is that, you had cops using pedestrian vehicles, or not pedestrian, but civilian vehicles.
Civilian vehicles as
Their barricade, yeah.
Shelter.
Right.
So you've got the bad guys firing on the cop, and the cop is hiding behind a civilian vehicle. Well, now that civilian is directly in the line of fire because the cop's behind their car. Like, that is the Wild West.
I've heard a lot of people say it should have been a helicopter chasing it, not I don't know how any of that stuff works.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where, from it, and sadly, you had 2 innocents lose their lives and all this, and that part is terrible.
I can't believe it was only 2. With all of those bullets that we heard falling everywhere around, and all those cars.
Mm-hmm. It was insane that I would assume that all South Florida agencies, that they will start to communicate and say, hey, should this ever happen again, this is what you do. We can't ever get a vehicle into a high traffic area like that in rush hour traffic, and then we begin the shooting. So we can, and so hopefully very soon they're going to be cranking on this. The FBI will come in and be like, okay, we've got this down. Should this ever happen again, here's how you handle this, so you minimize the danger and the loss of life. So, yeah, but that was one of the big things. That's going to be going on for a while, but that was definitely the tone in all the articles I was reading over the weekend on that story. So, and I got the clarification, too, that Frank Ordonez, he had worked at UPS for like 5 years, but he had worked his way up to getting his own route. And I think that was his first day on a route. So he'd been with UPS for a while.
Okay.
Yeah, so he'd substituted for drivers before, but this was his own route, and so he was all proud and happy that he got that. So.
Terrible.
Yeah, sadly, 2 little girls, too, age 3 and 6, that he left behind. So I know that people in the community are going to be, doing things to try to help him out. So if we find any information about GoFundMe's and whatnot, and you would like to contribute to that, then you can do that. So. Trying to make some positives out of a terrible negative situation. A couple positive call-outs to my best friend and wife, Maggie. Thanks for the greatest birthday weekend in Key West. Love you loads, JR.
Nice.
And also a big shout-out for KVJ for getting me through the first half of the marathon on Sunday, the Fit Team Palm Beach Marathon. I listen to you all daily, and especially love the ATS podcast, so I downloaded a few, and I listened to them during the race instead of my music, and I found myself smiling and laughing throughout those 13.1 miles.
Ah.
Love you guys, and thanks for all you do to make a great show. Christy, so thank you for that, Christy.
Christy, yes.
Yes. Misha had sent this about, remember last week I was talking about the article about people waking up in a bad mood, and on average, it was like 300 days a year.
That seems like a lot.
That only gives you 65 good mornings a year. You're like, going, I'm in a great mood and life is fantastic.
It does seem like it's a lot, and I wonder what they're considering a bad mood. Is it that you're annoyed that you're waking up? Or are you fucking distraught when you wake up?
Are you mad because it's the alarm clock waking you up and you really would love an extra hour?
Because to me, that's not really, you're not waking up mad at the world.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how they did the research. 2,000 adults from the U.S. is who they had in this, and did they just ask them, are you in a good mood today? Or do you wake up in a good mood? And how often? So I don't know exactly how they went and they got those days, but they said the reason was because a lot of people don't sleep well, and that was one of the big reasons. Stress and anxiety were the reasons why people are not sleeping well, having to use the bathroom at night and stuff like that. But Misha had said, since Kevin mentioned about how people wake up in a bad mood 300 days out of the year, I've been trying to wake up happy. Friday was my first day. I got up for work in a good mood. I went out to the living room. My dog had pooped all in her cage and must have had an upset stomach. Oh. That was fun to clean up, made me late for work. Then this morning I get up, I get my baby ready, get down to the car, everything going well. I'm even running early, and then the car doesn't start. It took 40 minutes to get it. Jump started, and of course, I'm now late for work again. So far, I prefer waking up in a bad mood. So, yeah, I hear you. It is tough. It's easy to say, and then, life starts throwing you some of those challenges, and that's the tough part, to keep smiling through all the aggravations. So we'll see. Talking a lot about tattoos here today. Virginia said that when Panda got to work, people put anchors all over his computer screen, huh?
Yes.
Yes, for his anchor tattoos.
They changed his screensaver on his desktop to anchors.
Pretty funny.
Yeah. Well, this is an idea from Ashley. She said, I just wanted to write you guys and say, for some reason, Bird looks pretty good with that writing on his face that he had the other day. He said, bet my face. And somebody said, whenever Jay Bird does that, he should have to write something on his face in Sharpie. If he's going to bet his face, he needs to lose his face, since you can't actually, or you shouldn't really cut it off. So this got me to thinking that maybe Jay Bird could use a face tat. So next time he bets his face on something, he should have to get a little piece of pizza by his eye, similar to a teardrop tattoo.
I don't hate it.
I feel like he rocked the shit out of that. So
It's all attitude, baby.
yeah. Okay. There you go. Interesting concept there. Somebody on the Peloton versus gin ad. So has anybody really been out of shape about this? I was reading, I guess SNL even did a little bit of a spoof on it. They had a whole skit going on. And then they brought out Melania Trump, and she's like, would you like to pretend like you're pedaling away from a trapped existence? You know, basically that whole thing. She gets on her Peloton to get away from life in the White House with Donald. But Daria, she had sent an email. She said, basically, society thinks skinny equals healthy, which it does not. That's why people were so triggered by the Peloton ad, not physically or mentally. And it's wrong for a husband to get his wife a tool that can help with her mental and physical health, but totally okay for a woman to drown her mental issues in gin. Wait, hold on. Did I read that wrong? And it's wrong for a husband to get his wife a tool that can help with her mental and physical health, but totally okay for a woman to drown her mental issues in gin.
I know what they're saying.
What are they saying? Explain
They're
to me.
saying, so, oh, well, you're coming down on him, but it's okay for her to go out and have a bunch of gin. Oh, okay.
Oh, my gosh.
But hers is a separate ad. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. It's a separate ad.
It's a separate ad campaign. It's
Yeah.
not the same people.
It's not Peloton.
But what they're saying is, just overall, in talking about it,
Yeah.
everybody's okay with her downing gin, but him trying to help her get healthy is...
Well, first of all, I'm sure of it that not everybody's okay with her downing gin. Guarantee you, if you look at that video, there'll be comments. Someone will be pissed off about that, and someone's pissed off about the Peloton. And fuck this.
Yeah.
And fuck that. And fuck you.
I didn't believe anybody's really even upset, but yeah, I think some people are. The husband, the guy who plays the husband in the thing, he's an actor named Sean Hunter, and he saw the Saturday Night Live spoof, and he said, yeah, it's all good. They're having fun with it, but he's like, I'm getting a lot of DMs and a lot of stuff, messages. He's gotten death threats.
He's an actor. Why would anybody message that guy a death threat?
And he said, I can't even afford the damn bike. I'm a teacher.
20% of people are out of their minds, Virginia, that are looking to be so fucking offended.
I think that number's higher on social media.
Social media, it's going to be at 70%, but I believe that the 70% on social media make up 20% of the population.
Gotcha.
And he's saying Peloton's gone deathly silent. He can't get a hold of him. They won't return his call.
Aww.
So he's on his own.
He's getting death threats, and they won't return his calls.
Yeah, no, they've pedaled away from the situation. And the Peloton girl is Monica Ruiz, and she's getting her fair shake of all this kind of stuff. So, but she had said that Ryan Reynolds' people reached out to her about the aviation gin ad, and she's like, might as well make something fun out of it. He said, it's not been fun. She's like, she said, I was shocked and overwhelmed by the attention, especially the negative. That's an understatement. Just be like, wait, what? People are really upset with this? But she went with it, and it seems like it was a good spin for her. I thought it was well played by him to do that. It's a well done ad. It's funny. It's better visually, but yeah.
And people are deliberately trying to get people pissed off on social media because they know they don't care. They just want the product talked about. I know it kind of backfired for Peloton.
Yeah, when I just first saw it, I thought it was actually not that great of an ad. I just was like, okay.
But you weren't mad?
No, I wasn't.
You know why? Because you're not a fucking lunatic.
Yeah. I just was laughing. I'm like going, so this already skinny woman needs a bike to get what? Super skinny? That was just my first thought. I thought it was ridiculous.
It's all noise.
And the fact that she looked like she was terrified the first time. I'm like, lady, it's a bike. Like, you'll be okay. If it's too much, stop.
Yeah, get off the bike.
So I just thought it was a bad ad. But then I was like, wait, people are really watching this and they're upset about it? It's pretty crazy. But that's the world that we have, right? People are upset here with the controversy over the Pro Bowl, there is a petition to get Michael Vick removed as Pro Bowl captain. It's got over 200,000 signatures on it.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to switch gears. I'm supposed to be mad about Michael Vick now? Okay, just want to make sure.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, this is all the outrage that is going on there. She said, just saw this on Facebook, was absolutely disgusted. When is the NFL going to take any responsibility for the behavior of its current and former players? To honor a man who had zero regard for animals is unacceptable. I would like your help to make sure he is not honored at the 2020 NFL Pro Bowl. He served, Michael Vick did serve 18 months in prison, suspended by the NFL for his role in the dogfighting operation. He returned to the league later, played for several more seasons, retired in 2017. He was chosen as an NFL Legend Pro Bowl captain along with some other guys that were in there. I think, isn't he also trying to do campaigns and trying to right the wrongs and turn around and be an advocate?
I think he's been very vocal about owning it and apologizing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, the cancel culture is created quite a dilemma in our society. That is out there now, where it's been easy. Okay, we got to cancel. He should never have anything of any virtue anymore. No, cancel for life from honors or anything like that. And that's what it is. And it's probably a sliding scale where it probably depends upon your own sensibilities and what it is that upsets you.
And two, how sincere is the apology?
Sure, yeah.
If you want to be mad at him, but you haven't heard the apology yet, I think you're doing yourself a disservice.
Well, even if he does make the most sincerest apology, he could save $1 million on top of it. There's going to be some people who just never can get there. They'll never forgive him.
Yeah.
I mean, I have relatives like that. No matter what somebody does, if you're on the list, you've made the list for life, and good luck trying to get off that list.
Yeah.
You, Kevin, you're a person who's all about redemption.
Yes.
And you think people can be rehabilitated.
Yeah, I think there's two factors. I think one, it does depend. It's a formula for me personally. I'm not going to tell anybody else how to feel, and I appreciate no one else telling me how to fucking feel.
Oh, you'll get some emails.
Oh, fuck off.
Here's how you should feel.
But for me personally, everybody has their own, right to make up their mind as to how they feel about things. But for me personally, it's about what did they do? What was the redemption that they tried to do and the sincerity of it? And then what is it that we're trying to plug them back into? Those are the three factors. I love dogs, and I think, yes, what Michael Vick was absolutely terrible. It ranks very high for me. It's not the same as someone who is a sex trafficker and a pedophile and whatnot, but it's pretty high up there for me. The redemption, he did the prison time like you're supposed to for society. He's done a little bit with the dog stuff that I've seen, and maybe more because I pay a little bit more attention to football in the NFL. Could he have done more? Yeah, possibly. Being a Pro Bowl captain, which pertains just to that, I don't love it, but I'm not going to be triggered and upset by it for me personally. So, that's my whole thing. But obviously 200,000 signatures is a lot.
Now, you got to actually talk to Michael Vick.
I did, yeah.
So you have a more interesting perspective than most of us who just are judging based on whatever we've seen or heard. Mm-hmm. When you talked to him, did you get that he really understood what he did and felt bad about it?
Well, you always have to, when it comes to this and where somebody is sad about something or, they have remorse, are they remorseful because of what it was they did or because of the backlash to what they did? And that I couldn't separate and tell. And that I don't know. Only Michael Vick knows that for sure. But I might guess that the reaction that he got for him is probably what he is most remorseful about. He didn't like having to go to prison. He didn't like having to, be suspended from the NFL, costing him tens of millions of dollars. The continued backlash where he wants to be a part of the Pro Bowl and be honored for what he was best at in life, could be because of that. So I think he's sorry about all that stuff. The one thing that I think people do have to understand in the equation, I always try to get a perspective of where someone has come from. Even horrific acts, it's terrible. But, if you look at people who have committed some heinous crimes, they had grown up in abusive situations that warps their mind, and they were in a bad place. Michael Vick, as I've talked to some friends who have kind of grown up in the same kind of culture that he did, it's interesting to get their reactions with it. And they admit, they're like, yeah, dogfighting was nothing. It was just commonplace. And where we went, we didn't understand it to be bad. And, there's probably people who've grown up in different cultures. And we think, well, this is America, dude. But yeah, there's parts of America that are very sheltered from other parts of America.
Sure.
Where you don't understand the outside perspective of it.
And they do bad things.
Yes, but they don't understand why it's bad. You may even say there might be some people that grow up with it, that do cockfighting a lot of times in the Hispanic cultures. And they may be like, okay, well, I don't understand why that's, you eat chicken. So this is just, part of what we do. So they didn't see it. And I think probably even still maybe some of the friend group that he had was like going, dude, America's tripping. Like, why would people be upset about that? And then if you go to Blacksburg, I talked to somebody else and they said, you would not believe the shrine that is there for Michael Vick because he created that football program. If you go into the football facilities, there is a massive mural of Michael Vick, like arms outstretched, like he's God.
Wow.
And that really is it. And that's his people and where he's from. He's from Virginia, and, Blacksburg, Virginia is a place where he can go, where he's insulated, and he will not get the backlash like what you get of 200,000 signatures to kick him off as a Pro Bowl captain. So
it's always an interesting topic when we talk about people who do horrific things, and I love hearing people's perspective because some people believe everyone's deserving of a second chance. And then I think some people think that you can forgive somebody, but just because you forgive them, they don't deserve a chance to be back in the limelight. But you can forgive them, but not forget what they've done. I mean,
I agree. Yeah,
it's an interesting thing because a lot of people. I'm just reading the comments and reading everyone's perspective, and a lot of people are saying, yeah, you can do the time, but you shouldn't be honored if you fuck up that bad. And that's what happens when you fuck up that bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when it comes to this, it wouldn't be something where I would go and sign the signature for, but I understand the outrage on this one.
And then I guess the other question is, when are you supposed to forgive somebody? Are there certain things on this planet that are just unforgivable? You'll never, like if your dad murdered a bunch of people, could you, being a religious person, could you get to a place of forgiveness with your father? Or is that something that would eat you up so bad you would never want to talk to him again?
Forgiveness, I always try to give. I think that is the right move. Trust, that is something that has to be earned.
Agreed.
And you can also hate the sin without hating the person. And it's like, I don't necessarily hate you, I still love you, but I hate what you did, kind of thing. And then, it just depends upon where somebody is. If somebody is trying desperately to be like, I really messed up and I'm trying to really walk on the right path, I think it's up to us to try to help them to walk that path and give them love and support on their way to doing it. But this does create a different category when you're talking about an honorary position where somebody has, where no one would even think of putting Bill Cosby in an honorary position and giving him right now, what is it, the Kennedy honors that
Right.
they do?
Sure.
You wouldn't think of that even happening and saying this is why, because of what you are accused and convicted of doing is horrific and unspeakable. And, yes, you were good at your craft, but you don't deserve to be honored in a place of honor amongst humans. Now, considering there are a lot of people that really should be honored that we don't know because they're not in media and entertainment, they're doing amazing things, that why would we waste the time and energy to honor somebody that doesn't deserve it?
Well, you see some cases where someone gets murdered and then the family that's alive, they go and they forgive the murderer. And I'm just thinking in my own personal life, I would never want to hold that kind of hatred in my heart.
Yeah.
But if somebody killed and raped one of my family members and they died in a horrific way, I don't think I'm going to be able to get to a place of wanting to forgive them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, could you imagine sitting down face to face, hugging them, apologizing?
And saying,
Yeah.
I love you and release.
I forgive you.
And I'm not judging anybody that can do that because I think we all got our own path. We all have our own ways of coping through this crazy game called life. But I just, for some people, there's certain sins on this planet. They're not going to get there, I don't think.
It's too much.
Yeah, no.
But I was
it's
also
tough.
I was also taught to forgive people as well.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes it is a bit of a contradiction with my own emotions on that kind of stuff.
I'd hope I would. I don't know if I could.
Sure, exactly.
That's it. I've fortunately not been in that kind of situation.
Because I also know people fuck up in life, but then again, what did you fuck up with? You know what I mean?
How bad was the crime?
Exactly.
Ariella said, sorry, Kev, I don't agree. That's like saying it's okay to marry children because that's what your culture/religion allows. I'm not saying that any of that is okay, but I'm saying to understand where somebody comes from, you do have to understand that, yes, we here in America, we sit in great judgment as the moral authority of planet Earth. And we see so many cultural things that happen, and we're like, that's absolutely terrible. And here we are high and mighty with what we do, but we don't understand the culture they come from. And I'm not saying that it's right. I'm saying they weren't given the perspective to have the understanding of how it's wrong.
You're not at all defending Michael Vick, but what you are saying is this is why A, B, and C possibly happened. Well, that's what they do with all of those murderers. They sit them down and they develop a forensic file on that and see why they did what they did. They're not saying it's right, but it at least explains why maybe that horrific shit happened.
Yes, I know.
It's not condoning. I understood you, dog.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm just saying, as you try to understand how could you get to a place like that, where would your mind be? Because, I often have the wonders or the questions in my mind when you see these things. Is this something that's going on biologically with the person? Is it nature, nurture? Is it something that they saw growing up? How does somebody get to be so evil that they can do the things that you hear about in the news? As people are talking about the things that Michael Vick had done to dogs in the chat room and things like that. Yes. How are you able to do that? What has conditioned you to get to that point, to have no empathy whatsoever?
I always feel like, and this is just my own a personal opinion, when you're going through those developmental years and something you see something or you react something during that time period where you're getting so much information and you're kind of shaping what you are. Maybe you were, during that very pivotal time of you growing up, saw some shit that you could not handle and process, and it got baked in your brain in a fucked up cake. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And I think your capabilities of empathy are unfortunately controlled by DNA that you have no say over. Mm-hmm. Because after the whole dog thing with Michael Vick, they did this whole piece about empathy. And they actually sat Michael Vick down and they gave him kind of like an IQ quiz, an empathy test.
Yeah.
And they deeply examined his psyche and said that they don't really know that he has the capability that some of us have in empathy.
Sad, yeah.
Empathy is not something that you are just given. It's a God-given. No, you may not have it, and it may not be your fault.
Controversial opinion on those kind of tests, though. Sometimes people can manipulate those tests to appear dumber than what they are, or you see what I'm saying? And he might, and I don't know, but he could have easily acted like he doesn't know about empathy because that would, he doesn't understand. You're not supposed to nail dogs to a tree. you know what I mean?
Yeah. You would think that seems to be,
as a 20-something-year-old. He didn't know that was wrong. See, Michael Vick didn't have I don't know.
Yeah. You just wonder how did he get that warped that he was able to do that kind of stuff.
It's certainly fascinating to delve into.
And who knows? You have counsel telling you how to answer this or that. You just got to be careful with those tests to be the end-all be-all on motherfuckers. A lot of watching some of those murder specials, a lot of them lie. They get off on fucking around with the police.
They manipulate it.
Totally. A lot of them are super smart, actually. And when I say smart, they're cunning. They know what they're doing to get out of shit.
Michael in Atlanta sent in an email backing up what engineer Keith had said about nuclear power plants. And too often in movies you see, it's going to blow. And it's just, whole city's wiped off the map. Engineer Keith had let us know how it's contained and all those kind of things. Basically, the worst case scenario would be if you watch the TV show Chernobyl. There wasn't necessarily a big, huge boom, but there was the leakage and the fallout and all that kind of stuff that happened. He said here, I want to follow up on the email engineer Keith had sent in about nuclear power plants. Jaybird said that he was worried living near one because there would be radiation in the water. Fortunately for all of us, nuclear power plants aren't allowed to put radiation into the water. The Nuclear Regulatory Commission watches things like this very closely to make sure no radiation is being emitted. None. Okay. Also, Kevin said that he saw big smokestacks at a nuke plant. Those big stacks are actually emitting steam. They're called cooling towers, and they are just circulating hot water through them, which is cooled by air releasing steam. So there you go. There's a good website, nuclearfundamentals.org, in case you're interested in learning more. And tell Engineer Keith I'd love to grab a beer with him next time he's in the ATL.
I mean, that would be a super smart beer meetup.
Yeah, right.
Almost too smart. Can we keep it kind of light for beers, please?
I think we're too dumb for that made up.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Oh, and if you get alcohol, it's going to get real dumb real quick.
Can you imagine trying to hang in that one?
No.
We've got Victoria here. She's like, hey, guys, looking for a restaurant recommendation. I was hoping you could help me out. I live in Fort Pierce, and we're trying to go someplace nice for dinner in the Jupiter to Palm Beach area for Christmas Eve. I always hear you talk about nice places and experiences, but I don't get down south enough to know the area. Plus, I don't trust Yelp to know who is really good or who was annoyed at the time the review was written. That's true.
Yeah, you can't because most reviews are written by mad people.
No, definitely.
If you had a great experience, I mean, yeah, some of us will go and write a nice review,
And
but
they're called family members.
most times you only really trumpet the bad, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, if you're reading reviews of a restaurant online, the good reviews are the family members, and the bad ones are people that are just dicks.
You can take US 1 right down to Evo in Tequesta. I love Evo.
Okay.
It's such a beautiful experience. It's a little more upscale.
It
but
doesn't sound upscale.
It's perfect for Christmas Eve dinner. That's what I would say, Evo.
Evo. It's Virginia's recommendation.
I was going to recommend Camille's.
She said, we're trying to stay in the area, and after dinner, we want to drive through Abacoa to see the Christmas lights. We often go to Cooper's Hawk in the mall, but I'm looking for someplace nice and different. My kids are all adults, so I don't need chicken fingers on the menu. So there you go. Victoria, been listening since the old wild days.
Nice.
Yeah, right.
Aaron's is right there in Abacoa.
Okay.
That's a cute little spot.
Aaron's Table.
Aaron's Table. That's a
That
little
is
more
nice.
upscale.
And they have wine. If you like the Cooper's Hawk and you go there because of the wine, Aaron's Table is small and quaint, and they have good wine.
Is Okeechobee Steakhouse kind of considered fancy?
Yeah, I think
it is.
so.
Okay.
Yeah, that's way down in West Palm, though.
Yeah, they're looking for stuff in Jupiter. I know you don't listen well, but come on. Get it together.
Well, I don't know any fancy shit in
Just
Jupiter.
stop trying to fake it. Just sit there and shut the fuck up.
That's impossible.
Adults are talking.
I can never shut the fuck up.
The one thing that they're doing that I don't know, in fact, somebody could maybe even help me out, is they do, it seems like there's a couple good places. One, they've got that plaza that is just down on, there's a couple of things interesting on Donald Ross, and I haven't gone around there very often, but they got that whole new complex that's right off of I-95. A lot of places in there. Alton. I'm wondering what all is in there. I've not explored that fully.
I don't know if they have any fine dining. They have a Panera. They've got a Panda Express.
Okay.
They've got stuff like that.
Yeah, I was wondering if there was something tucked in there that I'm missing out on. And then on down further, I think near it's maybe Central or something like that, they have that where the Gold's Gym was. They got that little, there's a couple quaint little places there that the Queen and I have gone to.
Yes. So Donald Ross, if you're heading east on the right-hand side of the road, they have quite a few little super cute spots tucked into that plaza.
Yeah. So there you go. That might be a couple things to check out.
You said Panda Express? Oh, man, that's just my game.
We know.
I love that place.
I can see that about you.
Yeah, I'm a lo mein guy.
That's what it's Asian food. I don't think I've ever been there.
Oh, you Fat Kevin, we could change the world in there.
He's low maintenance. Maintenance? Low maintenance?
Let it hang.
That's not working.
Don't bail her out. Let the silence hang.
Low maintenance.
Low maintenance. Yeah, no, we heard the shitty joke the first 5 times you tried to sell it to us.
Oh, Harry is saying that Evo was awful. Went there a few weeks ago and is so underwhelming. So
Really?
Is Harry a complainer?
he just wrote a Yelp review.
Harry wrote a Yelp review.
When you go to Evo, too, ask for Melissa to be your waitress. She was our very first winner of the KVJ Mom of the Year many, many years ago, and she is such an awesome waitress.
Oh, that's a KV event right there.
Yeah.
Damn, for the bird.
That was our first year in radio. Melissa is the sweetest.
Y'all always went to that Fridays I'd go to. I just wonder how many times we passed each other.
Probably a lot.
Probably a lot.
And if you do the craft beer thing, you've, of course, got Civil Society that you got to go check out right there in Abaco. And then Doss is right across the street, and they have amazing craft beer. So
Perfect little area to grab beer.
You got me wanting to do a little fucking Panda Express today. Where's this at again?
Alton.
Where the fuck is Alton?
Kevin just talked about it.
Okay.
Donald Ross.
Yeah, all right. I'll talk to you off the mic.
he's kind of in these conversations, but not really.
Kind of not.
I just don't. What the, Alton? We gotta talk about that.
You did a remote there.
At Alton?
Yeah. Didn't he? Yeah. Yeah, you
Bless
totally
your
did.
heart.
Don't bless. No. Don't bless my heart.
You're the one person that really should know.
They brought you in for the grand opening.
Yeah.
The pet place?
Yeah.
That's Elton or Alton? Well, all right. I gotta be annoying the audience. I'm annoying myself.
It's just it's amazing.
Yeah.
But I do want some Panda Express, bitches.
There was one thing that I did want to get some closure on today. We brought it up today about how Suits had gone on his first communion. And the communion was part of it. I didn't realize this. He had a great childhood friend of his. He, Suits was telling me almost kind of like a brother of his that unfortunately had a disease. I guess, it was something that he had to live with most of his life, and it's ultimately what took him out at the end. And so, tough for Suits. He had to deal with the passing of his cat, which for a lot of people mean, hey, the death of a cat that you've had for a long time.
And then a friend back to back. That's a lot, Suits.
Yeah.
How are you doing? You okay?
I'm all right. It's been a rough month. It really has. My buddy Chris, who, the equivalent of that, just so people understand, that would be Denny's dying for Bird. That was family right there. Every time we did like trips and stuff, whatever family it was, we'd always tag along. He was basically my brother. So he fought cancer since he was 5 years old.
Oh
on
my
and off.
gosh.
And he had been in remission for a couple of years. Really thought that out of the woods, and unfortunately, he got brain cancer that came back. He fought it as hard as he could, but it became too much, and.
Yeah.
I feel really bad because he really was he was a fantastic person who he just wanted to live a normal life. That was all he was trying to do, was to be able to do that. And, he just never really got the full chance to do that. So it was very tragic. It was very difficult. It's somebody your age that you're that close with, I've known for so long.
So young.
Dying. His 25th birthday was this month.
Wow.
His mother's birthday was last weekend, and Christmas was always a big deal. So for the whole family, it was just
tough.
Absolutely
That is very tough.
But
it's situations like that when you hear a story like what you're talking about, Suits, with your friend. That to me, you talked about that we wake up in bad moods 300 days out of the year. Like, that's somebody that maybe should or could.
He's got a right to be in a bad mood. None of us do. You have your health. You really do have everything.
Yeah.
Right.
I will say, one of the things that was just so amazing about him is no matter what the situation, he never let it get him down. He made fun of it so many times. He led the league in jokes on everything he went through. Right after he found out he had it again, 10 minutes later, he's cracking jokes, because he knew. If you can make fun of it, if you can laugh at what you're going through, you're taking the power away from what that holds over you. And I always thought that was amazing, that he was able to do that. And, a lot of people cared about him. The funeral was amazing. I was saying to Virginia, you got Elio Castroneves at his funeral. I'm like, that's pretty freaking cool. I don't see a three-time Indy 500 champ coming out to mine. And he was telling me. I believe
Dancing with the Stars, too.
Yes, among other things.
Yeah.
But he was telling me how, my buddy loved his cars. He had this Camaro he kept so pristine. And Elio Castroneves was saying how he really wanted, when he was better, to take out his car and race him at Homestead. I'm like, man, that's a three-time Indy 500 champion right there saying he wants to take you on. So it's pretty cool. So, he was an amazing person, and I'm really going to miss having him in my life for sure.
Yeah. Well, sorry for everything that you're having to go through, man. So.
We're here for you, buddy. We're
here
for you. You want breakfast all week long? You got breakfast.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, let's fucking
Stay connected with his family, too.
I am.
That will really help you, and it'll help them, too, to talk about it and help each other and lift each other up.
Yeah, I just can't imagine what that's like, no parent should ever have to outlive a kid. So
it's awful.
I'm definitely trying my best to be there for him. I reached out to his mom on her birthday and talked to her a little bit because it's devastating for her,
Well, we have a group too with Little Smiles. Unfortunately, there's a group of parents that really lean on each other and get together probably about once a month, once every couple of months. So if you'd like to extend an invitation to her to, be a part of that group, it's always open and welcoming. And I know that they would love to help give her some comfort.
I know people who've done those kind of groups before, and it gives a camaraderie, some strength for a lot of people who are down and out.
It really does.
I'll definitely
It's hard, but it's good for you to be able to talk about people that share your common sad experience. It really is, because you're like, okay, I'm not over here on Grief Island by myself.
Mm-hmm. Right. No, I'll definitely extend the invitation because I know that she could definitely use somebody to talk to who understands it. It's tough. I keep trying to say things. What do you say?
Right.
What are you going to actually say about it? How do you comfort somebody in that situation? It's just there's really no words. So.
And could you imagine if this really was a Grief Island? Oh my gosh, that sounds terrible.
That would not be a fun spot.
I think Virginia would vacation there.
Where are you
Virginia
going?
would love it.
I'm going to Grief Island. Oh my gosh.
I would not love it. I like to be happy.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing, Suits, and you got
course.
family here with us, buddy.
I
Yes.
appreciate it. I appreciate having you guys to lean on.
Of course.
I appreciate all your emails as well. You can get them to us, mail at kvjshow.com, mail at kvjshow.com. The After the Show podcast being brought to you by Bud's Chicken and Seafood and their amazing chicken fingers. You guys have an amazing Monday. We'll see you later.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.